Replace array subset is another powerful node in LabVIEW. So here I have my basic array and I just have it filled with ones. But if I want to change one element, this node found under arrays and replace subset is very powerful. So in this example, what it'll do is it'll take our array and based on our index, it'll replace one of the elements with our new element. So if I want this second element, because arrays count from 0, so 0, 1, 2, I want our second element to be a 7. And I'll make this larger so we can see. We hit run, now we have our 1, 1, and we have our 7. So this second element was successfully replaced with our new element. So here we have another example where instead of replacing just one element, we're actually using a subarray to replace an array in a two-dimensional array. So what we have is our input is here, and our output is over here. So what I'm doing is I just have our two-dimensional array. We have our rows of just ones and a row of twos. Now I picked index 1, and if we look over to our, when I highlight over it, it'll say index row, and then right below it is index column. So I'm not using the column right now, so I'm only indexing the row. So I'm in element 1, which is the first one down, and this subarray I only put in one element. So that's why on our output we only have 1, 3 here. So if I was to line this up with, let's say 4, 5, and let's just keep it like that, and I run this, now only as large as this array got changed. So it went through, saw the index, it says, okay, index 1 for the rows, it looked at our new array here and only filled in, because it only has 3 elements, it only filled in element 0, 1, and then 2, which is our 3 elements, which shows over here. So we could use like array size of if we wanted to, let's say, change these all to 3 in like a for loop, which we could talk about later, but it'll only change as much as the size of the array that you are putting into the new subarray. I hope that makes sense. Here's another example that kind of builds off of this second example here, but instead of replacing with the array, which you saw we could do up here when we had just one element, it would replace just one element at a time. But let's say you only wanted it to be, just one element here. So if I was to run this, it'll actually change back to this. It'll change back to this array with all twos. The zeros here because obviously it's set to that. But let's say I wanted to change this one up here. What I'll do is I'll go to my index 3, which is my row, which we can see right there, should be 0. So we'll change this to our 0. So we're here. And then it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So our column should be a 3. And I want to replace that with a 58. Now when I hit run, this element changed to our 58. And then you can see our 0 obviously changed because now the array going in is our 2. So this design with both the column and the rows hooked up is used where you only want one element to change and get replaced in your array. So here's the basic layout of using the replace array subset. So I hope this is helpful and stay tuned for more.